What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another game in my new series of Age of Empires 4 highlight games. In this series we'll be taking a look at some rated games that were special for whatever reason. They were epic, we had some interesting things going on in them. I'm going to try and showcase some fun games for you in this set, sort of selected based on either recommendation or I just caught something that was super interesting and I decided to cast it. This time around we'll have IAmMagic on the north as blue Abbasids, and down south we will have GiveUAnxiety as the French. The map we're playing is Confluence, a map where we'll have the players starting on their own respective patch of land separated by rivers. You see there is 4 different patches of land and they are separated by rivers, each connected with a bridge. Looks like IAmMagic opened up with a villager moving through this bridge on the left side. I wonder what the idea was, but it looks like he's pulling it back for the time being. He did scout the crossing over here, but that's basically it. Whereas for GiveUAnxiety, he's moving up with the dock in the middle. So on this map, you have quite a lot of shorefish to work with, so you can justify going for a dock, especially because your starting base is quite well defendable. There's exactly 1 crossing to each side of the map. So you see, if GiveUAnxiety wants to wall himself off, he just needs to wall this off, and wall this off, and from that point on, the only way that IAmMagic is able to push him is with a landing. So IAmMagic is a player that lost to Hera in the round of 32s of the Genesis qualifiers, so he wasn't able to qualify for the main event, but got pretty deep into the qualifiers, whereas GiveUAnxiety is currently a member of the Forgotten Empire's balance team, so he did not participate in EGC Genesis because, you know, the tournament was only a couple of weeks after the release of the game, and he probably spent the weeks, if not months, playing the game himself before release as a member of the balance team. Looks like we have a barracks coming in here from IAmMagic, so he probably wants to be pretty aggressive. There's a chance he wants to pop out a couple of spearmen trying to push the dock of the opponent, which GUA actually walled in, or he's about to wall it in. Looks like a scout is coming in from GiveUAnxiety. Let's see if he spots the barracks, because that's very valuable information. And it looks like IAmMagic cancels the building right away. He didn't see the scout passing, I believe, so it's a little weird that he's making that decision to cancel it. But, well, maybe he... Wait a minute. Maybe he spotted the walls of GiveUAnxiety. GUA loses his scout over here right next to the town center, so he's going to be left blind for the time being. And what I wanted to check is if Magic saw the walls, and it's possible he did. We have a spectator bug which doesn't let you see what the players exactly see, but he's got this area scouted, so I'm fairly certain he scouted the walls. And that would justify deleting the barracks and saying, okay, I won't be able to burn down the dock. In fact, I'm fairly certain the reason why GUA walled this in is because he was expecting some spearmen to come out and try to burn the dock. Looks like we will have villagers being sent to stone by IAmMagic, so he's preparing for a multiple town center build here. Whereas on the other side, GiveUAnxiety, he is just playing standard French stuff over here, going for gold. He's not really heavy on the wood, but I would expect him to move up on wood once he gets to Feudal Age, so we can get some Hulks out. Speaking of Hulks, the Abbasids will have a tough time against the French on this map, because all they can do is get some Dows out. They do not have an attack ship in Feudal Age, so the Hulks should be able to win water quite easily. And because of that, IAmMagic is going to have to play something different. In fact, I think that's the reason why he tried to go for the Spearman initially, because he was like, okay, I can beat the Hawks, I can just destroy the dock in Dark Age before the Hawks come out. Looks like we'll be aging up with a School of Cavalry here for GiveUAnxiety. You could justify making a Chamber of Commerce on this map, because as I said, the map is quite well defendable, so that's a possibility. But I feel like the School of Cavalry gives you some safety, and it can also help getting a couple of knights, getting some map control in. Looks like IAmMagic is currently at 4 fishing ships, GiveUAnxiety is only on 3. GUA has some fish at the back here that's rather safe, whereas for IAmMagic, this is his safest fish, which is a bit of a problem because it's still at the front. In fact, it's the only droplet of fish he can work with. The next closest one is around here, so it's gonna be extremely difficult to keep his fishing eco alive. As you see, he is going up with the economy wing, but that's going to be 2 minutes of waiting for him to Feudal Age, whereas his opponent, GUA, is already halfway up. It's very likely that IAmMagic is going to lose water here. I don't think that he can hold off the forces of GiveUAnxiety. So the question is, what now? He's going to play multiple town centers, but French do have a villager training bonus on their own TCs, and I feel like GiveUAnxiety can also go for a second town center. So I don't think that you can carve out a massive eco lead here for Magic. By the way, while we have a bit of a downtime over here, I was trying to work on my camera handling a tiny bit, just trying to make it smoother. So I'm more than happy to receive feedback on that. In general, I'm more than happy to receive feedback because my goal is also to improve. So first off, I'm trying to improve my camera handling over here so it's a little bit smoother experience. In fact, I'm trying to work towards being a pretty decent observer of the game as well. Now, do keep in mind, in case you're new to this channel, that I'm more of an analyst or analytical type of caster. I'm not necessarily that much of a hype guy, so whenever I'm casting, I'm less about the hype, I'm more about the analysis. I'm trying to be a little bit more hype when I'm doing solo casting, but when I'm doing casting with someone else, it's usually the analytics part for me and the hype for them, simply because this is just my style. Alright, so looking at GiveUAnxiety, he's up to Feudal Age, and we are gonna have one Hawk out, which means that the entire fishing eco of Mr. Magic is now gone. Looks like we are gonna have fishing ships out here for GiveUAnxiety. Now this is the confidence that you have in the Hawks. You know exactly a single Hawk wins water because he isn't even investing into a second one. He's like, okay, look, I know a single Hawk wins water, and I'm going to start popping out fishing boats right away. The fact that he's making fishing ships here just tells me that he knows exactly he's going to destroy the fishing eco of the opponent. Right now, AaMMagic is trying to lure away GiveUAnxiety's Hawk, maybe tries to get a Dao out to fight this, but really, he can't fight a Hawk right now. Instead, AaMMagic decides to go for a town center here on this unclaimed part of the land. It's a little risky, considering that this is a wide open area and it could be raided, but I love how he has been using his scout here, hidden in the stealth forests. This would be a perfect place to look at the bridge, right? If he stays in there, he could just look at the bridge and see if GiveUAnxiety is coming. That would give him safety. Looks like the villager on the berries will go down, so will the dock. So now GUA can start fish booming, but it looks like we're going to have a second Hawk that can also help controlling these bridges. And we're going to have another dock coming in here to get some more fishing eco going. Meanwhile, on the other side, it looks like we'll have defensive towers coming in for AaMMagic, so he's expecting knights. In fact, there is knights coming in. I missed this guy out here. This is a serious problem here for Mr. Magic. There goes one villager and his gold mine is wide open. If you look at AaMMagic, he's on 2 TCs and he's been mining stone, so he probably wants to go for a third one because he hasn't pulled the villagers from stone just yet. But now he's off from gold temporarily, so that one knight is doing quite a lot of damage. This final fishing ship is probably going to go down as well. Currently, GiveUAnxiety is on 1 TC, and he's not mining stone, so it's just going to be one town center fish boom, and he probably wants to just put up aggression with the knights, try to get some raid going. Meanwhile, it looks like this villager might actually go down to Benny the wolf here. The bitey infantry might actually get a kill. No! Oh, that's sad. It's pretty annoying that in Age of Empires 4 the villagers don't fight back, because things like that can happen. We have seen that in EGC Genesis, that you look away and you just lose villagers to a wolf. Don't tell me there's a second villager that's going down there. Oh, come on. It's annoying because GiveUAnxiety is also attacking you, so you're constantly getting attack notifications, so you're not even noticing that you're losing a second villager to the wolf. Finally, the other remaining villagers avenge their buddy, but that's 2 villagers down to a wolf. Definitely something that hurts pretty badly. Another defensive tower coming in for Magic. He has gotten the fresh foodstuffs upgrade, so his villagers only cost 25 food right now. Something that's mandatory for a double TC boom for the Abbasid dynasty. Meanwhile, down south, GiveUAnxiety is going for double ranges. So he's gonna have a couple of archers out to support the knights. He probably has seen the barracks. Well, once again, spectating doesn't let me see that, but I suspect that he has seen the barracks, and that's why he's getting some archers out. Currently, if we look at the economies, we'll take a quick look at that, as we have a third TC coming in for Magic. 45 villagers for GiveUAnxiety, including fishing ships, 35 only for AaMMagic. So currently, GiveUAnxiety is a pretty big lead. Remember that he doesn't have to invest into a town center, it's all about getting some fishing ships out. He already had a dock, so all he needs to do is just keep adding fish. And that's gonna give him a massive food eco. If you look at the income per minute, currently GiveUAnxiety is leading in basically every resource, especially gold is a massive advantage. Food and wood are rather close, but gold is a massive lead, and you see GUA is denying this crossing, and he's also denying this crossing. Now, while we have a bit of a peaceful moment over here, I want to highlight that this is not a bridge, as you may see. And this means that you can get demo connections over here. It's a little harder to do that on bridges. On the other hand, this is much wider, whereas bridges are quite narrow, so that's a difference between the bridges and those shallows. Third TC is up here for AoE4, and now GiveUAnxiety knows exactly that he's up against a free TC boom. So he's gonna have to add at least one town center himself, but it looks like we're going to see a fast castle here from him. You see he's piling up a decent amount of resources. Makes some sense, because with a fast castle, he could potentially start making siege weapons, like pull a villager, make a siege workshop here, and start pushing this up with the mangonels or so. Currently, there is basically no army for Magic. Magic is dropping outposts all around in the stealth forests, as you see over here. That's gonna give him very, very nice vision around this area, so he will know if there is any kind of attack coming in. The knight is trying to get some villager kills over here, but so far it wasn't able to. GUA will eat the damage. He will retreat, as Magic Scout is taking a bit of a damage over here. But GiveUAnxiety, he now has gotten Chivalry, so he's gonna be able to heal the knights up and then come in again, get a raid in. He needs one good charge on these damaged villagers, and that's it. There is no textiles upgrade right now for AoE so 2 charges are enough to kill a villager, and it looks like there goes one from Magic. GiveUAnxiety is trying to save that knight, and he will be able to save it, so only 2 knights are causing so much damage and chaos here in AoE space. We do have Magic currently sitting at 51 villagers. GiveUAnxiety is at 52, so dead even economies, but GUA has been on 1 TC for the whole time, so I'm still liking his position a little more. But AoE is gonna have this part of the map. Looks like GiveUAnxiety will find this town center in the next couple of moments. Indeed, he already sees it. So he should know that if he attacks here and he's got a Hulk controlling this bridge, he can easily deny reinforcements from Magic and just take this TC down. This being said, we have multiple barracks coming in here for AoE, and he's also on the way to Castle Age. He's aging up with the Courtier Wing, and we're likely going to see a heavy focus on the Spearman, potentially some men-at-arms as well, because we got some archers out from our red player, and probably forward Springolds. That's the usual way of playing the Abbasids, and that's something that GiveUAnxiety could have trouble against. He's got a monastery up, and he's moving out to grab some relics, I believe. If you take a look at the rally points, that indeed is on the relic. So GUA is about to get some relics for himself. There's 2 on this side, 1 on this side. In fact, there's 2 on this side as well. And the 5th one is... is there even a 5th one? I can't see it. There might be a 5th one somewhere. But there's 2 on this left-hand side island and 2 on the right side one. Looks like GUA is gonna eat some damage from those towers. The towers all have arrow slits as well, so they can fire without being garrisoned. That's gonna help a little bit for AoE. Now, these guys can't hold off big armies, but it's all about, first of all, getting notified of any kind of incoming enemy units. Second, of course, you want to be able to get some shots in, so you get some firepower, you can harass the enemy. Looks like this relic is also getting towered. That would basically mean that GiveUAnxiety can grab that relic. That would be a nice little touch from Magic. He's very heavy on the barracks, and now we are seeing a lot of spearmen coming out. It's mostly knights from our red player as he swoops in for a couple of villager kills. Magic up to Castle Age as he loses another villager over here. GiveUAnxiety is really using his knight numbers well here. It's not a huge amount of knights, and in the end it looks like he's gonna lose all of it, but he killed quite a few villagers throughout the game with those knights. It was just 2 or 3 knights, yet he killed like 10 villagers or so with them. Very efficient use of the knights over there. You see Hulks are denying the shorelines all around, and it looks like we're getting some Springolds out. Now, the Springolds are very good at sniping ships, because these ships only have 6 range and the Springolds have 10. So they can take down the ships quite easily, and then there's a chance for AoE to cross either this crossing or this one. This is probably the better one for him to cross, and there go the Springolds. Indeed, as you see, the Hulk is doing his best, but it is just not working out, and the Springolds are very good at doing damage to a single high HP target. It still takes some time for the Springolds to take down the Hulk, but this is exactly what AoE wants to accomplish. Push away the Hulk and get a crossing. Now, this map is known for having notoriously long games, because these crossings are so well defendable. In fact, it can have so long games that many pro players alt F4 the map when they get it, simply because they don't want to play a 5-hour long game. Looks like we have one sacred site in for GiveUAnxiety as he takes down the scout of his opponent. whereas there is no sacred site for our blue player yet. GUA now has a second town center as well, as here comes AaMMagic with his army. 74 villagers for GiveUAnxiety, IAmMagic is at 75, so head-to-head in terms of villager count, in terms of eco-efficiency, looks quite similar. The food income is much better for IAmMagic, but a slightly higher wood income for GiveUAnxiety, plus better gold income as well. Still, I feel like that's a rather even-ish looking economy for the two players. Here come the spearmen, and the first question is, will GiveUAnxiety see this? Let's switch to his POV. And it looks like his monk is going through the stealth forest, but he might see the forces moving up here. If he looks at the minimap, you see the blue dots do show up. So despite the fact that he doesn't have a perfect vision, he is going to see the forces moving up. He's going for a relic over here, but the enemies have already crossed the bridge, and here's the deal. We have 8 army for GiveUAnxiety, including the ships, and there is 37 here for magic. So a massive horde of units coming in here, and this is a panic castle here for GiveUAnxiety. He needs this keep to hold off the springolds. As you see, AaMMagic is pulling the spearman to get a battering ram immediately. He knows exactly that the springolds can destroy the keep, so he's gonna need a couple of battering rams. This is going to be a difficult haul for GiveUAnxiety, but if there is one building that can hold off a springold push like this, that's a keep. In fact, you probably want to get the boiling oil upgrade as soon as possible, as he's doing right now. The boiling oil upgrade would destroy any kind of enemy unit that gets close to the castle. And the reason why that's important is because if the spearmen get close to the keep, they will get destroyed, which allows GiveUAnxiety to just use his villagers to jump on rams and destroy them. Speaking of jumping on rams, the Hulk actually gets a couple of nice shots in here. Springolds will eventually take it down, especially if the spearmen support it. Let's see if there's a demo ship or not. There is a demo ship coming in here for GiveUAnxiety. If he can pull these forces close to the water, a single demo can sink this entire army. Meanwhile, GUA is capturing additional sacred sites here, which will give him a nice trickle of gold. But the key problem he's facing right now is that there's a sizable army on his side of the land. A couple of raids coming in from GiveUAnxiety on the left side, as he gets some more villagers picked off. I really love how he's able to harass his opponent with the knights, but he's gonna need something that stops this force here. That's a veteran spearman supported by rams, supported by some springolds, and now GUA is running for his life right now. The keep is doing quite a bit of work here, and the defensive springold would also help immensely. But GUA will probably lose some buildings here. I don't think that he can stop that. Meanwhile, though, IAmMagic is losing a serious amount of villagers. He's at 92 right now. GiveUAnxiety is at 96. So GUA's eco is still better simply because he keeps killing villagers from our blue player. Looks like the springolds are finishing off the Hulks. There's another demo coming in here. But so far, I don't think we had a single demo connection. Mangonel now in as well for AaMMagic as he's going for the ranges. GiveUAnxiety, though, up to Imperial. And I think he's going up with the College of Artillery. Indeed, he is. In this situation, you could justify the Red Palace because that's basically the best defensive landmark of the game. It's the best keep-style landmark of all. But one thing that you get with the Imperial Age, if you go with the College of Artillery, is the Royal Culverin. And the French can only make this unit if they go up with the College of Artillery. So, in most cases, the College of Artillery is the better building to go up with. Red Palace is more like an emergency building in case you're getting pushed really hard and you need a good defensive building. Now, this guy is basically an anti-siege unit. Where is that? It's coming out right now. It's an anti-siege unit. It has the same range as springolds, but it one-shot springolds, whereas springolds need 2 or 3 bullets to take it down. So you can go in, snipe a springold, get it repaired, and still go on. Usually, when you're using Royal Culverins, you want to have a repair villager nearby, or 2 or 3, better. Because you want to make sure that it gets repaired so it doesn't get taken down by the otherwise cheaper and technically weaker springold. You see the cannon takes down the majority of the HP for the rams, villagers jump out and take down what's left. And this is why boiling oil is important, because once the boiling oil pours out, all those spearmen will evaporate. This is why right now Magic can't really afford to fight close to the castle. We will have one springold taken down by the Culverin. Culverin turns around, takes another shot. Springold goes down, spearmen charge in to take down the Culverin. Here's Anxiety repairing, but he fails to do that. He snipes down the Springold before the Culverin goes down, but now the Culverin is gone. There is a second Culverin coming in, however, and he could snipe down the ram. Keep that keep alive a little longer. The longer that keep is alive, the less spearmen we'll have here, because I think the next boiling oil is coming out soon. Those little windows are the ones that are pouring it out, and you see that those spearmen are just disappearing from the battlefield at a quite rapid pace. Part of that is the boiling oil that comes out. This didn't hit perfectly, as GUA is coming in again to repair the culverin. Costly loss there, losing it to the spearman. There's still a couple of springolds out here. Mangano's also taking the shots at the castle, as well as some spearmen. But it looks like GiveUAnxiety might be able to hold this keep together for the time being. He's most definitely on the back foot, however. He's at 4 military as opposed to IAmMagic's 35. The keep is once again on fire, but villagers are being brought in to repair, as currently IAmMagic has the majority of the map under his control, has a TC on the right side as well, and just a never-ending flood of spearmen. Look at this. Spearmen are coming in batches of 4, but the problem he's facing is that he doesn't have siege that takes this castle down. What he could really use is 2 or 3 trebuchets, but for that he needs to make a siege workshop. The spearmen can make springolds, mangonels, rams, siege towers, but they can't make trebuchet. At this point, think that would be the appropriate move for Magic. Pull 3 villagers, make a siege workshop here, get 3 traps in. Because the traps can just keep shooting at the keep, and there is absolutely nothing that GiveUAnxiety can do to stop that. Now, he's up to Imperial, so he can have access to the hand cannoneers, also the Reboldequin. The Reboldequin is a very, very good unit against massed low-tier units, like infantry or archers. It's very, very good against foot units when they have big masses. Here comes the Culverin again, tries to snipe down the ram, and it looks like it might be able to take down a ram. I feel like if this keep goes down for GiveUAnxiety, he's out of the game, and he knows that, but in exchange, he's sniping down all the springolds of his opponent, and IAmMagic's push here isn't materializing just yet. The ram goes down, as we do have the spearman once again coming in for a charge. Boiling oil is in there, and you see, this is why all those guys are heavily damaged. Boiling oil is just going to tear them apart. There is no springboard or cannon emplacement on this keep, but a cannon emplacement would be very beneficial right now for GUA. Looks like he's able to force the enemy back. Once again, beautiful move with the Culverin to snipe down the springolds. And when the dust settles, we're looking at 121 villagers for IAmMagic, still in Castle Age. GiveUAnxiety is at 106, so slightly weaker, but he is in Imperial. Looks like new rams are being built. GiveUAnxiety doesn't know that, but he probably suspects that that's the plan of IAmMagic. He's got Culverin to defend, so I don't think that he needs to be afraid, though. A couple of scouts come in, and for GiveUAnxiety, the scouts are basically a cheap, very cost-efficient unit to snipe siege weapons. These guys are only 60 food, and you see that they have 110 HP with the upgrades of the French in Imperial, and they do 10 or so torch damage. So they're actually very, very cheap, and it's pretty easy to get a couple of them out and then use them to destroy springolds. Looks like some fishing boats are coming in here. For a moment I thought they're demos. The demos and the fishing ships look very similar, and like you see, these guys are demos. They look very similar to fishing ships. Sometimes they're burning, and when they're burning it's easy to identify them, but that's not always the case. We do have a keep on the left side as well for GUA, but it looks like he's going to lose this dock and he can't stop those rams here. In fact, I'm not even sure if he can stop those rams on this left side. That's gonna be a cause of concern for him. Looks like we have multiple Reboldequins, some archers, and some hand cannoneers in as well. GUA is still only at 13 armies, so he's playing a no-army game so far. Looking at the current resources real quick, Magic is not going into Imperial. He's pop-capped at 200, but full Castle Age. He's about to click up to Castle Age, or Imperial, excuse me, as now we're switching to the current, from the current resources to the income per minute, because that's more relevant late game. You see, GiveUAnxiety barely has any gold income. He's out of mineable gold on his part of the island, so he's gonna have to play with cheap units, horsemen potentially, archers, whatsoever, and this is why those cheap scouts actually work out nicely as a unit that snipes siege weapons. Now, no spearmen around anymore, they have come in to raid here, so GiveUAnxiety could just try to destroy those rams at the villagers, but it's a little difficult because he needs all villagers to repair. If he pulls villagers to destroy the rams, he's going to lose the castle, and I don't think that he can stop the keep from being destroyed. Spearmen getting some raids in, many of them are damaged, so I think the TC will clean them up in time. But GiveUAnxiety loses the left-hand side keep, which allows Magic to start pushing. That's a military wing Imperial Age for our blue player. As you see, more spearmen coming through this bridge. The first step for GiveUAnxiety back in this game, if he ever wants to recover, is controlling the bridges. Big, massive spearmen coming in, and this is probably the most exposed part of GiveUAnxiety's eco, as he's getting another keep up here. So, by the time this keep goes down, GUA is gonna build another one. Now this is gonna be a little close because I'm not so sure if GUA can get this up in time. It depends on how fast the spearmen react. It looks like the spearmen are having a mental breakdown, going the wrong way. What are they doing? You guys are going the wrong way and you're just gonna let GiveUAnxiety get this keep up. Oh, that's such a disappointment. Not sure where these guys are going. There is nothing here that justifies pulling 30 spearmen, and yeah, they are turning back now. Oh, that's such a lost opportunity there for Magic. He's getting some more rams out here. Now, these guys will probably get picked off, and now the reinforcements can't come in, so this ram push is going to be a failure. GiveUAnxiety now coming in with a decent amount of horsemen. They don't even have the veteran upgrade right now, so they're pretty underwhelming. But they do have decent torch damage, so they can start burning down buildings at a quite rapid pace. Imperial Age almost in for IAmMagic, and that's the moment where he can start getting his own cannon in. You see multiple siege workshops are coming in. Veteran horsemen are in, but we are looking at veteran spearmen. Probably elite soon for IAmMagic. Despite all the damage taken by GiveUAnxiety, and despite the fact that he only has... demo? Come on. There goes the demo. Wasn't that amazing, to be honest. It took down 5 spearmen, but it probably returned its cost, and that's basically it. It would have been more epic if it's like 50 villagers getting killed. Now, that's a pretty decent trade here from GiveUAnxiety, and as I said, he's got the score lead, despite the fact that he has a pretty underwhelming map control right now, basically no gold income from mines, whereas his opponent has a huge amount of mineable gold under his control, and I love how Magic is taking this gold mine. This could be easily lost to a counterattack from GiveUAnxiety, so better take it while you can. I like that quite a bit. Keep here for Magic, doesn't have the boiling oil upgrade just yet. Horsemen will take down a couple of villagers, but most of them will get cleaned up by the keep. Looking at the base of GiveUAnxiety, what is he planning to do? He's got some siege weapons, but that's basically it. He is at 23 armies, so still very, very underwhelming numbers for him. Whereas for IAmMagic, he's getting a keep up on the left side of the map. He's already in the possession of one over here. He could really use a second keep somewhere around over here. And the other thing for IAmMagic is that he should start taking the sacred sites. 3 sacred sites would give him a huge amount of gold income as a trickle, something that would really sort of pay off as map control. By the way, that relic is under the bridge. I feel like the monk that was carrying it just got killed and the relic fell behind the model of the bridge. That looks a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. We do have a mill here from GiveUAnxiety, so at some point he tried to go out for this hunt, but that was it. And at this point, IAmMagic can play the defensive game. He can just sit back and say, okay, I'm gonna wait for my opponent to come in. Now it's elite horsemen, some Culverin coming in as well. Now Culverins are very poor against buildings. These guys are anti-siege units. They are extremely bad against buildings, so it's not like they are cannons. Well, they are cannons, but they are not like the actual cannons or bombards. Now Keep is gonna be a little close here, but it looks like the spearmen will clean up the horsemen. So it's very likely the Keep goes up, and when it goes up, it's probably gonna take down the hand cannoneers and the archers here. Revolted Wing will also go down, and that's going to be a cost loss here for GiveUAnxiety. Those are very, very expensive siege weapons, and they do cost gold, something that GiveUAnxiety currently doesn't really have. So you see, he's at 630 gold. He's got 300 gold per minute income, but these are very expensive siege weapons, so losing a couple of them hurts really badly. Looks like we do have a ram push coming in on the left side as well by IAmMagic, as the scores do even out. That is, ladies and gentlemen, 6 rams if I can count correctly, plus Springolds as well. I like the Springold edition because that can help taking down the Culverins that are meant to snipe the rams. Horsemen are being assembled by GiveUAnxiety as the rams come in to push the food eco of his. These rams could also push the monastery, which is the only gold income right now for GiveUAnxiety. Those 2 relics are pretty much the exclusive gold income for GUA. But the spearmen were a tiny bit mispositioned, so the horsemen can jump on the rams. Is it enough for GiveUAnxiety? I don't think so. Spearmen will just massacre all those horsemen. It's elite horsemen versus elite spearmen, so the spearmen should have no trouble winning this. Numbers also seem to be fairly even, if not better, for IAmMagic. And as I said, there goes the monastery, so pretty much all the gold income for GiveUAnxiety will disappear. Rams now coming in for the other town center, but there is no escort here, so GUA can take down the rams with the villagers, although the town center will probably fall. This is looking very, very grim for GiveUAnxiety, I'm not gonna lie. Looks like some spearmen are trying to bash their way through the defenses on the right side. Archers and the hand cannoneers are holding steadily for now. Something that could really help IAmMagic is just a handful of horsemen himself, because his opponent has quite a lot of archers, quite a few hand cannoneers as well. Horsemen would be a pretty efficient way of dealing with them. Just look at all the massacre. Look at all the destruction that has been done inside the base of GiveUAnxiety. He's at 155 population right now. Still 124 villagers, so his villager count isn't looking very bad as IAmMagic is coming in here with an attempt to make a keep here. If he makes a keep here, he's gonna have a very nice foothold and he can deny this entire wood line, which would just limit the amount of resources GiveUAnxiety has. You see, this is the only remaining wood line at the back of GiveUAnxiety's base, so a keep going up here would basically mean that GUA is running out of wood. Now, that's going to be a costly fight here for Magic, though. That's 4 bombards on the bridge, and some horsemen alongside some villagers will be pulled to try and take them down. You see, there's a bit of a traffic jam on the bridge. Also, it looks like it's going to be a pretty close one with this keep. It goes up, quite a few villagers will fall, as now the next question is if GiveUAnxiety does have enough siege to take it down, because he's going to be forced back by this keep. No boiling oil just yet. GUA is still busy cleaning up all these battering rams, by the way. You see, there is still some spearmen behind. Most of the rams are now gone, but GUA is on the back foot quite heavily. He's still at 182 population, which is impressive. In fact, he has higher population than his opponent. Now, if you look at the resources of IAmMagic, he's floating quite a lot of resources, so he could be 200 pop, although he's very low on food. That's the problem for our blue player. He needs to add like 20 farms here. 20 on food when you're flooding spearmen all day, all night is just not enough. There are a couple of other things that he could do now that he's up to Imperial. He could get the dock up and try to get some cannon ships out to try and bombard shoreline structures. He could get quite a lot of those stables killed. And it looks like the keep might go down. There's a cannon emplacement being made right now, and it looks like quite a lot of horsemen will fall to the spearmen, but GUA knows exactly that he needs to clean it up ASAP. Now, if he cleans it up, those horsemen can all jump the bombards, and that would be a massive loss for IAmMagic. GiveUAnxiety also has a lot of food and wood in the bank, and now, as I said, he's jumping on the bombards. It's gonna be very difficult for IAmMagic to save these, and that's gonna be a costly loss, not something that he can afford. Looks like there are still villagers out here, and they're making a new keep, but here comes a cavalry charge from GUA, also has a couple of archers in, even a demo, and there goes the demo, all the villagers go down. Oh, that was beautiful. That was just absolutely beautiful. All the villagers went down to the demo ship out there. Looks like we do have a castle drop attempted here by IAmMagic, something that GiveUAnxiety could stop with like 5 horsemen or so. He's pulling villagers to stop this one, trying to torch down the building. I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think the villagers have enough torch damage to do this. There's still a spearman poking down villagers, even a random mangonel by IAmMagic, just trying to do as much harassment as he can. As now the horsemen are being pulled though, and I don't think that this keep is now going up. It depends. Are the horsemen targeting the villas or the building? It looks like they're targeting the building, so it's gonna go up, but it's probably gonna go down pretty fast. GUA will probably lose villagers here in this fight though, and that's gonna hurt. Looking at GiveUAnxiety, he still has 47 on food, which is impressive given the fact that half of his farming eco was rampaged by spearmen and rams. As we do have Magic shelling this castle here. The castle holds firm right now for GiveUAnxiety. He does have 2.1k stone in the bank, so he's got resources to repair it, but it doesn't even cost stone to repair. This is a new thing to me. I knew that it costs wood, but I didn't know that it doesn't cost a single bit of stone. That's a little weird, because stone structures should cost stone to repair. I don't mind having a wood cost associated with it, but it's a little weird that you are repairing a stone structure and you're only consuming wood. Nonetheless, we do have 64 army right now for GiveUAnxiety, so he managed to stabilize here. He's going for a full trash composition, horsemen and archers. Magic is just so resilient going for the spearman, he doesn't even want to go for anything else. And as I said, I feel like the problem that he's facing when it comes to closing out the game is that he's not using his advantage appropriately. You see, he's not taking the sacred sites, and he doesn't have the food eco to flood the units. Imagine if he had men-at-arms, by the way. Men-at-arms would be pretty decent against horsemen, and they would shred the archers. And it's not like he doesn't have the gold for men-at-arms, right? He's sitting on millions of gold. Elite archer now in. Mangonels are in though. Pretty close call. There's a Quaverin trying to snipe the Springolds. the Springolds do not have the roller shutters. That's actually a pretty big problem for AaMMagic. He needs the +2 range on the Springolds, so he can actually outrange... Well, he can't even outrange the Culverins now. They do have 12 range. So, you need the extra range on the Springolds so you can match the range of that Culverin that survives. The villagers tried to snap that Culverin down, but that was a failure. Massive, massive win there for GiveUAnxiety. That's a very expensive Culverin. Remember, he doesn't have gold income, basically. He's got 100 gold per minute, so losing a Culverin is extremely expensive. It's 600 gold. So 6 minutes worth of gold income. Now quite a few bombards being set up over here. I don't think that this keep can be kept alive any longer. Indeed, they would just melt the building. Here come the spearmen getting through the bridge. Now you want to sort of fix this traffic jam. You want to get off that bridge as soon as possible, because this traffic jam is a perfect invitation for a demolition ship. And I feel like this demo here was a massive swing in a battle. Now here come some more demos, and that is a massive traffic jam as well. GUA reacts as the demos got deleted at the inappropriate time. If these were shallows, those demos could be even more effective, because you see that the demos can go directly under the bridge to get the hit in. Now, imagine if there was a demo here. Beautiful fight, by the way. As the spearmen are holding off the horsemen, this is not necessarily cost effective for GUA. Remember that at this point, AaMMagic is more than happy to starve out GiveUAnxiety from resources as well, because now we're running low on wood even on GUA's part of the land. Meanwhile, there's only one keep here for AaMMagic, and I feel like GiveUAnxiety could potentially afford to send 20 horsemen and counterattack here, get some raiding going, because the way is clear all the way to the starting base of AaMMagic, who still only has 20 on food, which is a little disturbing, annoying, frustrating. He could also trade with the neutral markets. There is neutral market here, and there is one over here. So he basically has infinite gold income if he decides to have it. Bombard emplacement coming in for this keep. That's gonna keep GiveUAnxiety at bay. And there is the counterattack I was talking about. Now, these keeps do not have boiling oil. So it's not like these guys get slaughtered if they get close. If they had boiling oil, all these horsemen would go down. So that's a massive, massive thing missing right now for AaMMagic, and it's a realistic possibility that Magic is gonna lose 1 or 2 keeps here, which exposes his entire left side. And once that's exposed, suddenly his slow-moving spearman army is a serious concern. In fact, I would think that he needs quite a lot of barracks here to start fighting this one. There goes one of the keeps, and you see some horsemen went down, but barely a few. Like 5 or so at maximum. With boiling oil, this would be 20 plus dead horsemen. Here they come. They will run past all the towers, all the keeps here, and they're just coming in for a raid. They're trying to snipe down towers as much as they can. Meanwhile, stone walls are coming in for GiveUAnxiety, trying to make sure that as much as his army is on the left side, he knows exactly that the right side now is wide open. He's trying to get some towers up, and those towers come with built-in Springolds right at the beginning, so they do have quite a lot of firepower. Can he finish these walls in time? There is a couple of bombards in here, but the traffic jam on the bridge is preventing AaMMagic from setting all his stuff up. He does have some Springolds out here. He does have a castle, even with cannons. There is a mangonel as well. Looks like the spearmen will have the chance to flood in, but there's a new keep here. So it looks like, even though the first one was destroyed, GiveUAnxiety rebuilt it, and now he's got a defensive tower. As I said, this guy does have a Springold, so he can start sniping the Springolds of the opponent. The walls have been breached, and that means that the spearmen can actually run up to the top of the walls. Horsemen coming in now from GiveUAnxiety, as we do have a Bugla trying to just lower those numbers. GUA still gets through with a decent amount of horsemen. It's something like 25-ish. It's actually more, 28. Quite a lot of them are heavily battered, and there are spearmen coming in, but I think GUA just wants to snipe the key buildings. Remember that the landmark victory condition is that if you snipe the opponent's TC and the House of Wisdom, you win the game. And the House of Wisdom is very powerful with HP, 22,000. And the TC is also pretty powerful, 9.1k, so it's gonna be difficult, and it looks like GUA will just lose everything here. That got underwhelming. Speaking of underwhelming, we do have the horsemen coming in though, and that's gonna be a lot of that Springolds for AaMMagic. Massive value picked up there for GiveUAnxiety. He's going to snipe all the Springolds, potentially all the cannon, and now the archers will get on top of the wall, which means that they're gonna receive quite a lot of damage reduction bonus. That's gonna help quite a bit. You see, they're on the wall. which means that their range is increased by +2, and they receive 66% less siege damage as well, so that even the mangonels don't perform that well against them, and the springboards from towers can take down the mangonels. Horseman is still trying to get some raiding in here on IAmMagic's Eco, who kind of needs some new lumber camps here, if I may say so. By the way, one thing I wanted to say is that, considering that IAmMagic is playing full Spearman, he needs this upgrade desperately. It's a pretty cheap upgrade. Increasing the attack range of your Spearmen by 100% makes them much more effective at slaughtering cavalry, especially when you have tight quarters like this. One of the more interesting things, by the way, is that IAmMagic is exclusively making Spearmen. Of course, his opponent is making Horsemen, but it's just so weird that IAmMagic has not made anything else than Spearmen. In fact, he's out of gold completely. That's going to spice things up quite a bit, because we're going to look at Thrash Wars once again. Walls are broken through, so Spearmen will try to flood in. And I really feel like IAmMagic needs some cavalry. Like, his opponent has archers out there. Imagine if IAmMagic sent in 25 horsemen here. It might get cleaned up by GiveUAnxiety, but it would distract GUA's cavalry and allow him to push through the bridge. Alternative is getting some ships out. Like some Xebecs would help quite massively. We now have some Buglaws in, and that means that despite the fact that GiveUAnxiety can make some demos here to try and destroy this army on the bridge, the Buglaw will intercept them, so there is gonna be no demos. As I said, a Xebec would help immensely. It can take down buildings, it can get some nice cannon shots in on the enemy, and it looks like GUA is coming in with another raid. This time around he's going to fortify the left side. At some point he's going to run out of resources though. You see, he's currently sitting at 5k food, 7k wood, but he's almost out of wood here. So soon there is gonna be some urgency for him to win this game one way or another. Quite a lot of arrow fire coming in here. IAmMagic would also benefit from some walls. Imagine that he gets some stone walls in here. That would completely neutralize all possible raids here. Are there any spearmen that can meet this force of horsemen though? I don't think so. And this could be an excellent raid for GiveUAnxiety. Meanwhile, we do have a massive force coming in. We do have some culverins as well from our blue player. Cannons being set up to take down the keep here. And there isn't really much that GiveUAnxiety can do against this one. He's got one culverin, but the keep is already going down. This is the starting TC, by the way, so that's one of the landmarks that need to be destroyed. And considering that GUA is going for the landmarks, it's going to be rather easy for Magic to defend against this, because he just needs to rally Spearmen here and slowly clean this up. Magic is pulling the villagers to try and repair the town center, as most of the horsemen will be ground down here by the Spearmen. I don't think that we will have a successful snipe over there by GiveUAnxiety. Speaking of successful snipes though, the Spearman force disappears from in front of the cannon, and once again, IAmMagic is going to lose a massive amount of gold investment into this army. He's got a culverin to snap siege weapons, but you see, even the keep survives, and at the end of the day, the problem for IAmMagic is that his full Spearman army will get picked apart by the archers. The archers take a lot of damage from the cannon, but archers are easier to replace for GiveUAnxiety than replacing cannons for IAmMagic. Horsemen apparently do give up on trying to destroy that town center, and we do have that one being repaired. Some raids might still work out for GiveUAnxiety, as he will probably pick up a couple of villagers over here. GUA is at 160 population right now. IAmMagic's at 126 though, only 93 villagers, and I feel like GUA feels the blood in the water. That's a very, very disappointing end to those villagers. Oh, poor guys. They're getting picked apart by the keep here. You see, GUA is running out of resources. It's just Magic who never really secured these crossings. He had some keeps over there, but they didn't have boiling oil, there weren't any walls, and now his food eco is getting raided. He's down to 22 on food, no gold income anymore, and I feel like GUA is slowly mounting a comeback. He's starving out his opponent of resources simply because IAmMagic is losing so much gold, losing those gold units. Now there are still neutral markets for IAmMagic to work with, so if he starts making traders, he's gonna be all good. He didn't go for the trade wing as his last wing in Age 4, and he only has the second golden age as a notable thing. But aside from that, I feel like the key thing for him is that he's just over-investing into these pushes and under-investing into fortifying the left side. He could play a defensive game and win the game because he's got way better map control, but now his population looks disturbingly low, only 88 villagers, which might be alright for post-Imperial, but 34 army only is just bad. GUA has 104 villagers, so more vills, and he also has a massive army. You look at the horsemen, and this is why I said that the spearman range upgrade would help so much for Magic, because in these clustered up tight situations, it would be so much better if the spearman could actually hit over the cannon even. GUA's got walls up here, and I think he might launch another counterattack. That's a fairly sizable force of horsemen if I've ever seen any. Also, we got some trebuchets out, somewhat surprisingly. I think he just wants to shell this castle from the other side of the river. We do have some Dows and Buglas coming in, so I guess IAmMagic is going to start working towards destroying these docks and controlling this side of the river. There's a demo coming in. The Bugla and the Dow will take some shots, as it actually gets a connection, sinks the Dow, but the Bugla stays alive. Another demo is coming in though, and the Buglas struggle to a certain extent against those. Looks like the keep is now down. We got some more spearmen coming in. What is this full spearman flood for IAmMagic? Looks like the horsemen are crossing the river once again. The demo is about to come out and we'll probably sink the Bugla. And since we still don't have boiling oil, those horsemen might be able to destroy that keep after all. The cannon emplacement is a nice little touch, but the bigger thing would be boiling oil. It looks like GiveUAnxiety pulls his cavalry back though, because he might need them to defend his starting base here. Cannon once again shelling the starting town center. GUA will soon run out of all resources. You see that he's running out of wood on his own island, and if IAmMagic is able to deny this one, then he's basically gonna have no wood income. Looks like that's a sizable force of horsemen though, and if you look at the army numbers, it's 101 army for GiveUAnxiety. IAmMagic is sitting at 44 though. I feel like those army numbers will tell you how this fight is gonna go. And the problem that our blue player is struggling with now is army numbers. You see, he's got 32 on food, which is a decent count, but not enough to flood units. Compare that to GUA, he's got 57. In fact, if you look at the income per minute, it's almost double. And we're looking at food-heavy units for both players. So whoever's got way more food income will probably be able to outspam his opponent, and boy oh boy is that a big group of horsemen. Meanwhile, Trebs from GiveUAnxiety will start destroying that castle. In fact, it's already down. And with the demos out and the Bugla sunk, GiveUAnxiety will have some demos coming in as well. I feel like at this point we're seeing IAmMagic losing control over this game, because all he needed to do is just control these crossings, fortify them with stone walls, and make sure he doesn't lose as much value as he did. Now he's at 55 gold per minute. He didn't pick up the relics. He still needs to grab the sacred sites. Those are small details, but I feel like that's the reason why GiveUAnxiety is still in this game. Because he is controlling the sacred site, he picked up relics, those are little things, but those give him a tiny bit of gold income, and all in all, he was just very efficient with the fights that he has taken. Those archers are picking apart the spearmen of the opponent as well, and I just feel like, for whatever reason, IAmMagic is just obsessed with spearmen. But the weird thing is, as I said, that if he's obsessed with spearmen, I'm not sure why he's not having phalanx, or why he's not having the bootcamp upgrade. It very much feels like Magic is not very familiar with the Abbasids just yet, because this upgrade here and this upgrade would be essential for your spearman. It would make it much, much stronger. Also, you could use camel support. Have 1 or 2 camels and just boost your infantry with that. That's also something that works out nicely. Now the horsemen are coming in, just trying to shatter all those production buildings. And the thing is that GUA is able to remake the horsemen faster than he's losing them, which is brutal. He's got 6.5k food in the bank with 58 on food. The problem is wood now, and those horsemen also cost wood, so food is not gonna be a concern anytime soon. Wood will. So he's gonna have to secure a lot more wood income here. That's why he's aggressive pushing this and trying to take that keep down, which apparently is going down, because he needs to secure this forest. If he secures that, he's going to get a lot of wood income, and he can sustain flooding cavalry all day, all night. Looks like spearmen are being sent to the left side, and we do have some traders coming in from IAmMagic, which I appreciate. It's a very good idea. It's gonna give him a nice little gold income. It's not a huge amount of traders yet, as GUA is always rewalling the sections that IAmMagic is breaking through, so Magic breaks through. GUA rewalls it as, oh, there's a Bugla coming in as well. Horseman getting through the bridge here. Traders getting caught in the crossfire. Now I think Magic is starting to do the all-important things. So, grabbing control over the sacred sites. He will probably have to start picking up relics. Let's not talk about this. Okay? Let's just look at the town center of AaMMagic, which is not under attack at this time. Looks like GiveUAnxiety has given up trying to destroy it, and he's just going for the eco, which is the better choice. Just raid AaMMagic's food eco to death. Magic right now is at 10 on food, which is just absolutely insufficient. And part of the reason why is because he never really had great food income. And now that he has been raided, he just has absolutely none. I mean, look at this. He had like 13 farms at the peak of his economy. There's a couple more down here, but all of these are empty. Right now we have 84 villagers for AaMMagic. He just needs to add some more vills on the farms and he's good. But the main thing that he needs is Vols. Looks like the ram push is coming in on the other side though. Town center from GiveUAnxiety is gone. That's a nice start. But there are other landmarks as well. The School of Cavalry and the Guild Hall are all here. But actually the College of Artillery is also here. So if these three landmarks are destroyed, AaMMagic wins the game. That could actually be a realistic goal for him, although I still feel like starving his opponent out of resources would be more legitimate, as we are seeing the Spearmen taking down a massive group of horsemen coming into a counterattack. Also, the trap gets taken down, and now the villagers on the wood lines are getting raided. AaMMagic is getting his villagers back on track with the food gathering. He still has a pretty low gold income because of the low amount of trade cards, as it looks like we're going to have most of the cavalry units here cleaned up. Another wave of horsemen will come through, and they will meet the spearman. The spearman will lose, or excuse me, the spearman will kill a couple of them, but ultimately the spearman will get cleaned up. A keep is being attempted here by Magic, but that's going to be stopped. In fact, I love how GUA is not going for vills. He's going for the keep, because if he destroys the keep, his opponent will lose all the resources invested into that. If he just kills the vills, well, so be it. He could still kill the vills and destroy the landmark or the keep, but this is probably the best way of doing this here for GUA. Looks like the archers are also switching sides, so GiveUAnxiety starts to understand that he needs this forest above all, because he can't break through here. There's multiple keeps fortifying this position, so his best bet is to break through on the left side, and that's exactly what he's doing, securing some more ground for himself. This also threatens the trade of AaMMagic, and soon I think Magic needs to switch to this trade post. Looks like we're gonna have a big ram push assembled on the right side, supported by quite a lot of mangonels as well though. And if GUA's entire force is on the left side, you could justify going for a ram push and trying to destroy the landmarks here. Looks like all the archers and the hand cannoneers come back, which will still be able to take a good fight against the spearmen because, well, spears are just spears. Looks like AaMMagic will lose this entire side of the river as things stand. Some of the traders will also go down. The Bugla, I think, has managed to unstuck himself. But what Magic could really use here is one demo to sink all those horsemen. Looks like a massive horde of spearmen will be dispatched to deal with these horsemen. But for a position where GiveUAnxiety was in serious trouble, now I feel like he's slowly recovering. If you look at the score, it's quite even. We'll have like 50% control of the map for both players. Finally 2 sacred sites for AaMMagic, so he's slowly progressing with that as well. But the big deal here for GUA is that he's able to secure a market for trading. Before this moment, he didn't have a market. Now he has. Looks like the horsemen might be able to get through. Once again, a massive traffic jam out here. Spearmen just shredding all those horsemen in here. This is not really efficient for GiveUAnxiety in the long run, and that's something that we have to highlight. That he's losing very, very expensive horsemen. Even though they don't cost gold, they have a pretty hefty food cost. And they also cost wood for GiveUAnxiety, something that GiveUAnxiety has somewhat limited access to. So GUA won't be able to just spam horsemen into spearmen all the whole day, but looks like he's still motivated to do that right now. Here comes a bit more horsemen, and now there is some hand cannons and archers moving up. Magic is finding himself completely exposed to a massive army, and it's not a huge amount of hand cannoneers and archers, but that's just enough to pick apart a group of spearmen, which would allow GiveUAnxiety to use the cavalry to raid the opponent's eco. And now Magic is gonna need to scramble for something. He is getting some more barracks out himself. The good news here for AaMMagic is that if the entire army of GiveUAnxiety is here, it's very possible that he could make this ram push happen, and indeed that's the case. Now the rams are without escort, which means that villagers can destroy them, and that's a growing concern for AaMMagic. GUA coming in here as a defensive keep is made. Still no boiling oil on them, but at least the keep will keep the hand cannoneers and the archers away, so the spearmen can take fights against the horsemen. Horsemen jumping on the keep immediately. This might be a very, very short-lived keep here. Meanwhile, here come the rams, but as I said, without any kind of escort, these guys will be very short-lived. You see the horsemen already destroying them, so this is just a massive amount of wood wasted there for AaMMagic. He's trying to repair the keep as much as possible. Hand cannoneers getting close, sniping the villagers, as this keep is going down here, and now this is getting concerning for Magic, because he only has spearmen, and slowly but surely those horsemen will destroy the town center and the House of Wisdom as well. Mangonels are being pulled back though. If the Mangols get some good shots, this could be a massacre, and oh boy, GUA is not looking, and he's going to lose the majority of those archers and hand cannoneers. That's a massive loss, and he won't even be able to snipe down the Mangonels. That hurts so badly. That is just massive. We're also missing all of these upgrades for AaMMagic, so it very much seems like he's not familiar with the late game techs of the Abbasids, because he's gotten fresh foodstuffs, but nothing beyond that, and these are massive improvements. 15% gathering rate from farms, and 8% more resources dropped off is massive. Now here's a ram push, and finally these guys do have escort. So suddenly, GiveUAnxiety finds himself in a position where he could easily lose all his landmarks, and that would mean the end of the game. See, the rams are coming in, going for the keep. We do have a Royal Culverin out here that could snipe the siege weapons, and for whatever reason, the spearmen decide to charge into the base of GUA instead of helping the rams. A decision that could cost a lot for AaMMagic once again, because he's going to lose the rams and his opportunity to destroy these buildings. As the numbers of GUA are getting cleaned up inside the base of AaMMagic, he's able to reinforce his army back at home. He still has a decent amount of hand cannoneers here, so he can take some good fights against the spearmen. Meanwhile, back at home, spears are coming in here to raid. GUA is gonna have to evacuate his food income. And speaking of GUA's food income, he is at 7 on food. Not something that's amazing. And spamming horsemen after this is gonna be extremely difficult. Looks like some of the rams might stay alive for the time being. Horsemen will try to jump on this keep, but this is a little too ambitious, I believe. There is multiple keeps here, and both of these bad boys have cannon as well, despite the fact that they're still missing boiling oil. Looks like the hand cannons will slowly be ground down by the spearmen, but beautiful move here by GiveUAnxiety. He knows exactly he's going to lose this army, so he will do his best to snipe down as many expensive siege weapons as he can. He's going to snipe down 2 Mangonels, maybe even a third one. Looks like the third one will survive, as the hand cannoneer also do get cleaned up. This keep will be repaired here by AaMMagic. He needs this keep because he sort of has no control over this market anymore. So he needs this market for neutral trading. Meanwhile, Battering Ram is still knocking on this university for whatever reason. Now it's on fire. GUA's base is in ruins. Look at all those destroyed buildings. Same on the other side. Massive amount of damage was done to both players. But at the end of the day, GiveUAnxiety still has access to the wood on the left side. And if you look at the populations, it's 118 for GUA. AaMMagic is at 94. Both players are pretty much out of operational food economy. It's only 8 on food for Magic, 32 on food for GiveUAnxiety. He had a lot less, but it looks like since he has so many farms out here, he can just send the villagers back, whereas for AaMMagic, he never really had a farming eco set up. And now he's in serious trouble. You see, he's starting to make new villagers here. Luckily, he's got a villager discount, so it's rather easy for him to get some villagers in. He doesn't need to spend a huge amount of food on it. But he's gonna have to fix his food income, because GUA's raids have done a lot of damage to it. Looks like we do have 2 holy sites per player, so that's dead even. This relic hasn't been picked up by anyone, but I don't think that the players actually can pick it up anymore. Because you see that there is this glowing, so the players might know the relic is there, but I'm not sure if you can actually click on it because it's behind the bridge. So it's possible that you simply can't click it. There is one relic here that's unclaimed by either player, and that's pretty much it. Some hunt unclaimed. How are we doing with resources, though? Because it very much seems like we're running out of resource on the map. We still have quite a lot of trees here on the north for AaMMagic. Left side, slowly running out of forests here for GiveUAnxiety. If this game is much longer, we could see players starting to run out of wood. And in that case, in these very long games, this upgrade, the fact that you drop off more resources is enormous. That is just such a huge upgrade. It would have been a huge upgrade for the entire game, but as the map starts to run low on resources, it's going to increase in importance. Looks like now GUA will be able to take that relic. He's already pulling the monk. Horseman will take down tower, and there is going to be a TC as well. Meanwhile, another push is being assembled here by Magic. He has got 48 army, but only 61 villagers. That's very, very low for post-Imperial when you're only spamming Spearmen. You probably need at least 100 for this. I love how he neutralized the Sacred Site. That's a nice low touch. This way GUA loses gold income. But what is this push going to accomplish? Looks like a Mangonel gets sniped down by the Culverin. Spearmen are being pulled to take the Culverin down, but it looks like GUA will be able to save the Culverin. Close call, but there is the save from GiveUAnxiety. He had a repair villager coming in to repair, and the archers just picked apart the spearman, and now he's going to jump on the siege weapons of IAmMagic with the horseman. GiveUAnxiety has been taking so efficient fights throughout this game. He has snapped down dozens of siege weapons, cannons, mangonels, springolds, really anything that you can find, and this is hurting IAmMagic so badly right now, because those are expensive siege weapons that do cost gold, and IAmMagic no longer has access to gold either. The fact that GUA is in the game tells you how good of the fights he were taking. Looks like we're gonna have some battering rams coming in as well for IAmMagic. He's got a couple of spearmen here. I'm not sure how these guys got in here, but probably just snuck past the towers. It's possible he can take down one of the TCs, but destroying this entire thing is somewhat unlikely, although GUA is pulling all the boys, and I feel like GUA even knows that this is here, right? Of course he knows, he's got towers in here. The rams will be finished, but in that very moment the horsemen arrive, so these rams will be very short-lived. They might be able to destroy that lumber camp, but that's basically it. But as the horsemen are pulled to the left side, we're gonna have another attempt to cross this bridge here by IAmMagic. Now you are starting to see why many pro players dislike to play this map. You want to play a game in Age of Empires 4, like a reasonable competitive game is 20, 25, 30 minutes. Anything above that is considered long, I would say. And this is already an hour long, and we are just very far from the end. This map can be very stalemate simply because it's rather easy to defend these river crossings. One of the things that Magic could do, by the way, is to destroy these walls. If he destroys these, he can walk all the way up here and hit GiveUAnxiety's base from an open field here. The problem that he's facing is that he's trying to come through here, and the Culverins are tearing apart his siege. Speaking of Culverins tearing apart the siege, there go the Culverins. There is a Springald going down, another Springald goes down. This Culverin out here is about to get taken down as well. Once again, very efficient here for our red player. And it looks like the traders were still going to this left-hand side market here for Magic, as he is holding off the horseman for the time being, partially supported by that lost trader. But our blue player needs to trade with this market now. This is the market to trade with. There's still a boar here somewhere that could be reasonable resource income, because as I said, now we're running low on resources on the map. There's still some wood to work with, but if the game is continuing at this pace and we're just seeing armies clashing into each other and no one really progressing, we are just going to see the map running out of resources at some point. Once again, rams are being pulled without any kind of escort, so look at this. This is not even worth attempting. And this is what I don't necessarily understand for IAmMagic over here. He tries to be aggressive, but the thing is that if he just goes defensive on the two sides of the map, he could have won this game long ago because GUA just runs out of resources. But he's trying to be aggressive, and this isn't working. I understand that he believes in himself and he believes in his ability to break through at some point, but he's just losing way too many resources trying to break through, and look at these. Once again, 3 Springolds go down. In a game where he has 255 gold per minute income, those are costly losses. It's very expensive. And the other thing I don't understand is that why are we not seeing more trade from him? He's at 163 population, his food income is back on track, so he's good with that now, and that's a lot of spearmen coming in, so suddenly his opponent is gonna have to scramble for defense, pull some archers, because otherwise those spears will steamroll everything here on the left side. And if they take this side back, then GUA is still in trouble, because this is the only place where GiveUAnxiety is getting wood income from. GUA, on the other hand, has 8,000 food in the bank, 2,000 wood, so he can fight for a long time without resource income and still be able to recover and get some map control back, because he has such a big resource bank. Now archers are being pulled. By the way, did IAmMagic make any kind of other unit aside from spearmen? Like, yeah, he made siege, but I don't think that I have seen a single archer, crossbowman, hand cannoneer, horseman, knight, just full spearmen. Did he bet with someone that he can win this game with spearmen or what? Because this is just crazy. Funnily enough, as I said, he doesn't even have the unique upgrades for the spearmen. That's the frustrating thing for him. Imagine how good he could have performed in this game if he had this upgrade, and just the eco upgrades as well. And you could even go for these. Medical centers would help quite a bit. It very much feels like he either has forgotten about the unique techs out there, or he just doesn't know what these unique techs do and he doesn't have the time to read them. It's possible. Like, the players didn't have a lot of time to practice some civilizations yet, and he might be like, okay, it's an intense game, I need to focus on the fights, I don't have the time to stop and read tooltips, so I'm just gonna leave those texts there. But the reality is that those texts are very, very important. This is a very good raid coming in for here by Magic. He does lose the ram to the villagers, but GUA will start losing vills quite rapidly over here on the left side. Looks like the cavalry is charging to try and take down the mangonel. The mangonel would be extremely important to take down the archers. Archers do get a hit, but it's not a huge one, and there's only a handful of archers here against the never-ending flood of spearmen. Just look at this. How many spears are here? Magic's got 68 spears only on this screen. Absolutely crazy. We do have Springolds coming in trying to snipe the culverins of the opponent. Trebs from GiveUAnxiety are about to push this castle. You see all the Springolds get sniped down. The castle is on fire and it's being repaired right now, but with the Springolds gone, GiveUAnxiety will be able to use the trebuchets to take down the keep. The advantage of using traps here is that they have 16 range, whereas the bombards would have lower than that. So the bombards are easier to snipe with Springolds. Traps are very difficult to snipe. That's the trade-off that you're taking. Traps have lower attack against buildings, but higher range. So GUA's traps are safe here, and he can slowly take that building down. Now, looking at the left side of the map, once again, things are burning like there is no tomorrow, as now GiveUAnxiety is getting forced off from wood. He's still at 1,000 wood bank, but this is getting concerning for him, and this could be the final nail in the coffin. He's at 62 army, IAmMagic is at 93. But the key thing, as we have a demo out here waiting for a potential big demo shot, Come on, GUA. You can do it. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful explosion out there. And whatever is left out of those spearmen, the Reboldiquin will clean it up. What an absolutely beautiful play there by GiveUAnxiety, sinking so many spearmen. Now, his opponent still has a huge amount of spears to work with, so the job is not done just yet, but GUA breaks through the castle on the right side, so he could soon contest the right. Looks like the left is gonna be lost, and right now GUA is out of wood income. In fact, he's got no wood to work with soon. He's at 700 wood bank, but if he loses this fight, replenishing those horsemen is gonna be difficult. Quite a lot of archers supporting though, and you see, there is kamikaze villagers here. The moment the archers support and the horsemen get some ground over here, those villagers move out and they will try to get some sort of wood income here for GUA. We still don't have a lot of trading going on here. In fact, I don't see... Actually, there is some trading going on for Magic that helps a tiny bit with the gold income, though GUA actually has more gold thanks to the relics now. So you see it's 500 gold versus 422. Looks like the traps are moving up, and they're going to encounter 2 more keeps. This is gonna be difficult to take down because you would have to set up the traps, I think, on the bridge, and that is just a recipe for disaster. A single demo hit could connect, or Springolds could take it down. Speaking of a demo, please, please, please! I'm disappointed. I think that's the most disappointing demolition ship I've ever seen. that could have had the chance to destroy this entire force. And that's like what? I think that's around 3 or 4,000 gold for GiveUAnxiety. Like, that would have been a game-winning demo, because now this push is getting more and more concerning. Here come the Spearmen, though, and the thing is that the Culverins don't perform well against spears, neither do the Trebs. So these guys can take down those siege weapons very easily, and it looks like despite the fact that the demo didn't connect, the Spearmen will still get reasonable value for themselves. Very nice move here by Magic to snap down all the siege. The towers are getting spring gold emplacements right now to take down the spearmen, but most of those siege weapons will go down. Looks like the sacred site is being captured by our red player on the left, as cavalry clashes with infantry once again. GUA is back on wood, so he's got like 1400 wood per minute income, so he's up to 4000 soon. He's still... oh, actually, that's magic. Never mind. GUA only has 1k wood in the bank right now. But there's a Rebodequin now, and this bad boy is excellent at destroying massed infantry. Both archers, but especially spearmen. There's a demo here for GiveUAnxiety as well. I think he's just waiting for these spearmen to retreat and then jump on them with demo. Now all the traders will get picked off, and that's costly losses for IAmMagic, as he actually sinks quite a lot of horsemen here with demo. I was lucky to switch in here and just catch that blast. That was pure luck, because there is a demo chance here, as the spearmen are trying to avoid the archers, and they're looping around once again. Knights are coming in for GiveUAnxiety. He has been holding on to his gold for a long, long time, as the Rebodequin will soon show what it can do. Demo! Oh my goodness! I saw a red demo here from GiveUAnxiety, but I didn't know there was a blue demo here, and now that is a massive loss for GUA. His entire army went down. I'm not good at hyping things up, but even I got hyped with that demo blast. This is what demolition ships can do here, and suddenly GiveUAnxiety falls down to 32 army. Rebodequin could also get cleaned up by the spearmen, and we're getting close to one of the best games of Age of Empires 4 history. It's a massive stalemate, but there is so much enjoyment going on, so back and forth, and honestly, if you look at the scores, I still don't know who's gonna come out victorious in this game, because I think that GUA is still on the back foot, but IAmMagic is just losing so many units here. That being said, GUA just lost like 30 horsemen and a couple of archers to the demos. Here comes a cavalry charge. We'll try to snap down the Culverins. Those are very expensive Culverins here for Magic. I don't think that he can keep them alive, though. Beautiful move from GUA to swoop in with the cav and snipe it down. And really, Magic needs some cavalry so that he can do the exact same thing that is being done to him. Looks like the villagers are repairing one of the Culverins, though. Still a lot of villagers repairing. One Culverin survives, but two go down. On the left side, spearmen are slaughtering the villagers of GiveUAnxiety, though. He's stuck at 150 population and he's starting to run low on wood. I feel like GUA will need to secure the left-hand side of the map very soon if he wants to have any chance at coming back into this game. Because now he's going to lose his wood income, and if he loses his wood income, then replenishing those horsemen and archers will just be very difficult. There's a couple more demos here that could get some nice connections. Trebuchet will get sniped down by the spearmen, and it's ridiculous how IAmMagic is pretty much winning this game, or at least he's in a decent position with just spearmen only. Here comes a demo, and that blast is going to take down all the spearmen out there. Beautiful demo there by Mr. GiveUAnxiety. So both sides have some massive demo connections, although I think that IAmMagic is still the one that had the biggest of the game. Absolutely crazy game here. IAmMagic, the fact that he's just playing with full spearmen is borderline ridiculous. And there's a counterattack being assembled here by GUA, and this demo is awaiting for that, but it looks like Culverins might snipe it down from a distance, so this demo is not gonna get any kind of connection. There's still two keeps here for IAmMagic to hold this crossing, still without boiling oil. That's such an important upgrade, and it's missing the whole time. The spring gold apparently is refusing to work. He probably wants his wage increased, but in exchange it's just gonna get burned down by the mob. Look at all these villagers being heavily damaged, as we have villagers neutralizing the sacred site here on the left side. Magic knows exactly that GiveUAnxiety's primary gold income is relics and sacred sites. Speaking of gold income, GUA is at 600 gold per minute, only 200 for Magic. It's, I think, only sacred sites, not a single relic for IAmMagic. Looks like the Culverins supported by some archers, some hand cannoneers, and potentially a big group of horsemen are playing another push. But instead, the horsemen, with some knights in the party as well, are moving out. GUA has a massive amount of gold now, though. This is something that we need to consider. Look at his resources. He's out of wood, but he's floating 12,000 food and 4k gold as well. 600 gold per minute is not a huge gold income, but this game has been very long and those relics are paying off. This is why you collect relics on all maps as soon as you can. Of course, you don't want to sacrifice your military production for that, but this is why prioritizing relics is such an underappreciated thing. Because if the game goes very long like this, it can be a lifesaver that you're sitting on... Holy potatoes, 4 relics, I didn't even notice that, and the 5th one is over here. Those 4 relics are really clutch for GiveUAnxiety. That's 400 gold per minute, the overwhelming majority of his gold income. And you see, now he's going to start mixing in some Royal Knights. These guys don't have the elite upgrade, and that's a very expensive technology as well. But at this pace, it's gonna be food and gold for him only, and he's just gonna go heavy cav. And the heavy cav will be a lot more efficient than the light cavalry will be against the spearmen. This demo, by the way, killed one villager. It was very disappointing. 1 hour 16 minutes into the game, we still don't know who is gonna come out victorious, but I feel like now we're looking at GiveUAnxiety getting stronger and stronger. His opponent is running out of resources slow and steady. You see that gold income isn't something that convinces me, and once GUA has a lot of gold, he can just make hand cannons and heavy cavalry and just grind down IAmMagic. Here come the archers, and this is the moment where IAmMagic will have to make a stand here. The problem is that now GUA has a huge resource bank, and IAmMagic just allowed his opponent to grab 4 relics, and currently it doesn't seem likely that IAmMagic can take those relics away anytime soon. The way for IAmMagic back into the game would be to go horsemen and raid. This is wide open, so you can just run in with 20 horsemen, destroy GUA's food eco. That's the difference between the two players. Mangonel is getting some nice shots in here. You see quite a lot of those archers are damaged. Mangonel once again coming in, will try to take a shot. Is there any demos coming? No demos just yet. Mangonel takes a big shot though, as the archers are now super heavily damaged. The castles will probably finish them off, but the Mangonel might take another shot. Most of the archers are down. Horsemen now charging in to try and take down the Mangonels. Will be successful with that effort, but it looks like most of the army here from GiveUAnxiety is about to get cleaned up by the spearmen. Most of the archers are pretty much dead. Best thing that GiveUAnxiety can do is pull those horsemen and try to be a little bit more aggressive towards the farming eco of the opponent. But while we're looking at this, on the right side, IAmMagic is distracted, and he didn't have any repair villagers on the keep, which means he loses another keep over here. GiveUAnxiety already moving out, and he's about to set up the traps to take down the 3rd keep here. Spearman launching counterattack. Here comes a demo, and this could be massive. Beautiful demo out there. The traps go down. The Culverins all survive, and that's just such a saving grace here for GiveUAnxiety. Losing all those Culverins would have been an absolute disaster. Traps are still shelling buildings over here from the other side of the river. Another demo is about to come in. Shouldn't be able to hit a lot of horsemen, and the Culverins do snipe it down, so that's not going to be a connection at all. IAmMagic once again launching a counterattack with still full spearmen. He's floating 9,000 wood, which is something that's worth considering. The thing, however, now is that he lost control over both of the trade posts. So from this point on, he can't even trade for gold, something that he could do for the majority of the game. No more gold trade for him. Here come the spearmen though, and they're about to clean up all the stables that are just newly made here by GUA. Of course, GiveUAnxiety wants to make horsemen here and just keep raiding the base of the opponent, but this defense is impossible to break through here for Magic. He's going to try and snap down those otherwise pretty heavily damaged Culverins though, and he might get 1 or 2. Looks like he's gonna have to settle with cleaning up the horsemen for the time being. IAmMagic could also use some barracks on this side, just so that he can reinforce. Does he have the upgrades yet? He's still missing these upgrades. I think he completely forgot about the House of Wisdom. That 15% infantry health increase would be massive, and the phalanx would help so much as well in these clustered up fights. Looks like horsemen are just flooding out here for GiveUAnxiety. Look at this. Horsemen just coming in, wave after wave into the spearmen. Looking at GUA though, he is pretty much out of gold once again, so a lot of expensive cannons went down over here. He has added a couple of knights, a couple of hand cannons, but he's out of gold. Pretty much also some Reboldequin in the party. Now he only has food, and since he's low on wood, getting those horsemen out is gonna be difficult. It's 20 wood per horseman, and those die pretty fast. Whereas if you look at IAmMagic, he doesn't have a huge amount of food, but he's floating 10k wood, so he can keep spamming Spearman for a long time unless his food eco gets raided. Speaking of food eco getting raided, another wave of cavalry comes in here. This castle is now heavily damaged, but it should still be able to hold off these horsemen for now. And now we're getting barracks out for IAmMagic on the left side. If he secures this left side, I don't think that GUA has a chance. GUA will run out of wood. Of course, GiveUAnxiety can still go for horse or knights for some time. What are those horsemen doing? Please calm down. There's a demo here, by the way, that's waiting for the horsemen to cross. I think that's why GUA turned back. He saw the demo and he was like, dude, I'm not crossing that. And in fact, there's a demo coming in. He's going to trade off the demo here and then cross. That's probably the plan. So GiveUAnxiety still has a reasonable gold income from the relics. And the farms are infinite. So technically, nothing prevents him from playing a very long game and just waiting until his opponent runs out of wood entirely. It's a possibility, because he has infinite gold income from the relics, whereas his opponent doesn't have an infinite gold income. On the bright side of things for AoE4, if he secures this left side, he could trade, and then that's an infinite gold income. So there's a chance to grab an infinite gold income here for our blue player. Demo! Did it get sniped by the archers, or what happened? I was hoping for the biggest double blast of Age of Empires 4 history, and I got something very underwhelming. Now, that's quite a lot of hand cannons in the party. There is going to be a culverin and a mangonel setup. A mangonel could get some nice shots on top of those archers and the hand cannons. All of them clustered up in the causeway. There is going to be another mangonel coming in. It misses the shot for the time being. Looks like the left side, the sacred side, is being neutralized. Villagers here from GiveUAnxiety trying to find any place to chop wood at, but that's just not going to be a possibility at all. Looks like the sacred side is getting neutralized, and the left side of the map is completely taken by Magic. Not a lot of wood left over there, but the big thing is this market. If Magic adds like 15 trade cards or so, he is gonna have enough gold income to compensate for the lack of relics, and he's going to starve his opponent out of resources. Now, I did mention that there was a demo here that's now gone. In fact, we do have a transport ship by GiveUAnxiety. So it looks like he feels like he's running out of options as the spearmen charge in. That's going to be quite a lot of culverins down. Very nice move there from IAmMagic. Snipes down the expensive siege weapons of the opponent. He's going to lose all the spearmen, but that's 3 culverins down, each of them costing 600 gold. That's pretty massive, and there's a demo assembled here as well. Looks like we will have quite a lot of horsemen jumping in, trying to get through. We will have a Bagala here and also some outposts trying to deny that transport though. Can the horsemen land? It looks like they might be able to, but it's gonna be a short-lived effort, I believe. 16 horsemen won't be enough here, especially because there's a Bagala shooting there. A couple of spearmen can clean them up, and this transport is already heavily damaged. A demo would actually disintegrate everything here. Meanwhile though, archers are getting cross, and it looks like the demo is not going to connect, so the only keep that's standing in here is going to have to hold off all these archers and the hand cannoneers, as GiveUAnxiety wants to secure this side of the map. Meanwhile, horsemen landing once again, and that's now a scary force of units. The demo could turn back and sink them in just a matter of moments, but instead it looks like it's going to this side. Spearmen back at home should be able to hold off the knights that are now elite. So our blue player is going to need a lot of spearmen to win this fight, and it looks like we're gonna have some horsemen charging in as well. The hand cannoneers and the archers are still around here, and there's a demo. Demo gets sniped down by all those range units. Another demo is coming in. This time around it's flaming. As I said, I'm not sure when the model is flaming and when it's not. And now it looks like GUA isn't going for the landmarks, he's just going for the food eco. And IAmMagic is a little low on food, so it's gonna be difficult for him to mass enough spearmen to fight this one. Looks like that single transport is actually able to get all those units through. That's probably because our blue player is still very much distracted. Distracted by these forces over here on the right side. And now you got quite a lot of horsemen raiding as well. Magic will try to take one decisive fight here. Let's look at the resources. GiveUAnxiety is at 15,000 food still, and his opponent is running out of food. But there's a ram push coming in on the left side, and this is absolutely undefendable right now by GiveUAnxiety. He's got nothing close by. His horsemen are about to go down, and his Hand cannoneers are somewhere on the right side, and the Rams are going for the monastery. If the monastery goes down, all those relics are ejected. Now, of course, GiveUAnxiety can take them back, but that's all his gold income, and there's a chance that his entire Knight Force here is also gonna get cleaned up. Looks like GUA is trying to get some lumber. Oh, that's just such a disappointing thing for GiveUAnxiety. He's dropping lumber camps, hoping that he can chop wood here, but there is simply no wood. Here comes the entire force of GiveUAnxiety though, trying to clean up the Spearman. The Spearman will get some nice connections before the archers arrive. There is a demo coming in as well. You just need one big demo connection to sink that entire army of archers. Over here, the demo is going to fail to connect as the horsemen come in trying to snipe down those rams. Rebolda Queen might actually get taken down as well, and the horsemen will get cleaned up by the Spearman. Big hold here on the shoreline though by GiveUAnxiety as his forces are getting cornered, the sacred site being neutralized. There's also villagers moving up. Spearman, look at this. He's just looking for resources, and this is the first time I'm seeing a horseman from our blue player. It took 1.5 hours to get a horseman out, but finally we are seeing a couple of horsemen, and now these angry villagers are going for the otherwise very expensive mangonels. GiveUAnxiety is running out of options. On the other hand, he still has a fairly sizable force of knights and hand cannoneers. He's even making a tower over here, trying to neutralize the sacred site. It looks like this aggression has been cleaned up, and I think GUA is working towards picking up those relics once again. Looking at the resources, he's floating 12,000 food. No gold income pretty much for him right now. On the other side, IAmMagic is completely out of food, and his food income isn't really looking promising either. I feel like those horsemen are just way too late to the party. There is a couple of traders going on, so that helps a tiny bit. But now I feel like IAmMagic is just out of juice, because he just can't clean this army up here. He needs like 30 horsemen. If he can jump these with 30 horsemen, he can still even things out, but I feel like he just lost way too many units in what was one of the best Age of Empires 4 games out there. Just an epic game, and it looks like finally, after all that searching and all those failed lumber camps for GiveUAnxiety, he's finally going to find a place to chop wood at. Meanwhile, the big problem right now for Magic, 8 on food. He's got 127 population. GiveUAnxiety 148, but way more reliable food income, and he's about to get those relics back as well. And he's got 73 army, whereas IAmMagic has 35. Double the army, and I feel like now we're seeing GiveUAnxiety imposing his will on the opponent. We're seeing more and more hand cannoneers coming in, and that's very, very difficult to counter without horsemen. Trade is getting graded. GiveUAnxiety will take this. He had to fight for this, I'm not gonna lie. He had to pull up an insane fight, and he was on the back foot for so long. Yet IAmMagic took so many bad fights, and he just never went for horsemen, never really tried to raid his opponent. He went for an insane amount of spearmen. I'm going to be very curious to look at the kill death ratios, because I think it's gonna be more than 2,000 units lost for IAmMagic if I had to bet. But he didn't really have a huge trade going on at all. He never really fortified this crossing, so he lost 2 keeps here quite easily, allowed GiveUAnxiety to get this side of the map. I feel like the key thing for him would have been to just try to wall this off with stone walls, go for a trade, and then just starve GiveUAnxiety out of resources. It also felt like he wasn't familiar with the post-Imperial technologies of the Abbasids, so agriculture, improved processing, and boot camp all would have helped immensely here for IAmMagic to close this game out. But now GUA has a massive score lead, and I feel like now with a Gallias even in here, not something that you see every day, he's going to control this bridge. So GUA has this half of the map, and now he's the one pushing the right side. In fact, I believe all these villagers will get slaughtered by those hand cannoneers, if GUA even finds them, because I don't think the GUA knows about that lumberjacking operation. It's game over. I don't think there's a way back. I don't think there's a way back, simply. Demo getting a shot in on the dock doesn't really matter at this point. The thing that matters is that GUA's resource bank is massive and he's got access to wood. His opponent has 20 on food, which is not really amazing at this point of the game. And despite the fact that he's floating 8,000 wood, he's just unable to remake his army. Even if he remakes his army, he's going mangonels, he's going spearmen. But even if he takes down a couple of those hand cannoneers, it's quite easy for GiveUAnxiety now to rebuild them. Simply because GUA is about to have some more sacred sites under his control. He's got 4 relics back, I think. Yeah, he's about to pick those up, so expect the relics back under the control of GUA. He hasn't picked them up just yet, but he can do that any moment. He's probably just focusing on the fights now. What a game! What a game! At some point, IAmMagic is going to tap out, and I feel like the only thing we're waiting for right now from GiveUAnxiety is some siege weapons. Couple of cannon, protected by those hand cannoneers, and they can just steamroll the base of IAmMagic. But now, it just seems impossible for Magic to counterattack. You see that the score difference is increasing now. It's 11,000 score for GiveUAnxiety, 8,000 for IAmMagic, and it looks like this last keep here, which is pretty much the only thing that still helps Magic control this part of the land, is pretty much gonna get taken down. Barely any resources left on the map. You see on the right side, this is completely barren. All the trees chopped down. Same thing for GUA's side. Same thing for Magic's side. The only place where you still have some trees is on the far left. Barely any trees left. But now, GiveUAnxiety is taking the sacred site over here. And you see villagers running forward. I feel like they're just searching for trees to chop. Or they're just suiciding themselves into the siege weapons of the opponent in a desperate effort to try and take them down. But with that, GiveUAnxiety wins an absolutely crazy 1.5 hour long game. Holy potatoes. Villager count graph. Look at this. GiveUAnxiety had a very, very good eco for the majority of the game. These are the drops that were problematic for IAmMagic. You see, at some point he dropped to like 60 villagers or so. Those were the raids. He managed to build his villager count up, but in most cases the problems that he faced is that he never was able to efficiently raid GiveUAnxiety's farming eco. Army numbers, absolute craziness. You see that at this point in early imp he had the numbers advantage, but then GUA was able to use that crazy economy, and GUA just had better numbers for a long time. Then, by the time he finally got his army numbers up, the problem was that he wasn't able to control the map anymore. Let's quickly look at the stats. I was wrong, I said he lost 2,000 units. He's only lost 1,500, but still very, very even KD, and for whatever reason, GiveUAnxiety has a way higher score. I don't understand this. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying that looking at the score in AoE4 might not be completely relevant, simply because, just look at this. 4.3k score for a negative KD, less buildings raised than lost. I don't understand the concept of this score here and why GiveUAnxiety has 8 times more than his opponent here. Economies though, that's 134,000 food for GiveUAnxiety, only 82,000 for IAmMagic. In a fight where both players were spamming food-heavy units, that tells you why GUA was able to hold out for so long, despite the fact that Magic collected 30,000 more food, also 25k more gold. This just tells you how good of a fight GiveUAnxiety were taking. There is no way you hold out against 20,000 extra gold if you are not taking amazing fights. It was all about sniping down a lot of expensive siege weapons, especially early on. Like 5-6 cannons massed on the bridge, horsemen dive in, cannons go down. Those are expensive losses. Like a cannon is what, 500, 600 gold or so? So losing 5 cannons in a fight like that, that's minus 3,000 gold. Those are the fights that allowed GUA to stay in the game despite the fact that he had way less gold gathered. What else to look at? That's actually a bug, I think. 8 relics captured, that's wrong. I think he captured 4 relics, but he garrisoned them twice. And the game probably tells like, hey, it's 8 relics, but it's actually 4 relics, but he lost them once and then re-garrisoned them. That's probably the reason why we have that. Just a quick look at the score, and you see, for the first hour, it was a pretty back and forth game. After that, GUA started taking over. That's usually the time where IAmMagic started losing eco and started to have trouble replenishing his army. I just want to look at one more thing. One of these big drops was a massive demo hit. I think it was this one, or this one. I think it had to be this one because this is the steepest drop, but there was a demo that destroyed like 30-40 units from GiveUAnxiety. It has to be an instant or a very, very steep drop. It feels like this is the one, although we had a lot of fights where GUA just charged into spearmen with horsemen, so he lost a lot of numbers, but I think this was the big demo hit out there. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this crazy, crazy game. As I said, I'm going to try to bring in quite a lot of interesting special games in this AoE4 highlight set. So hopefully you have enjoyed, and see you next time.